my name is Lisa J, and today I thought I would go ahead and film a sew along for you guys. I made this 1920s flapper dress inspired by Princess Aurora, but you could follow this and do any character or any color scheme, whatever it is that you would like to do. It's super easy, so why don't we just go ahead and get on into it. Okay, so the materials you're going to need for this project is obviously you're going to need the fabric in the color that you want. You could just do this all in one color. I'm doing Aurora, so I want the kind of color shift thing that she does going on. So I have pink and blue, 1 yard of each, and then I have the Fringe trim in pink and blue. I think I have 5 yards each of those, and then you'll want coordinating thread, an invisible zipper. I have a 12 to 14 inch zipper, and then you'll want your pattern, and I just drafted mine. I just kind of traced a flapper dress that I already have, so we'll just hopefully cross our fingers in hopes that that works for us. Here I'm just cutting out my pattern pieces. Since I'm doing pink and blue, I cut one piece out of the pink and one piece out of the blue, and we're going to figure out how to split them down the middle later. Normally when you cut your fabric on the fold, you want to make sure your pattern is flush up against the edge of the fabric, but I left a little bit of extra room so that I could have a little bit of the seam allowance to sew that pink and blue together in the front seam and the back seam as well. Pattern just turned out too curvy, so I ended up stacking both of the pieces and then laying them over so all 4 edges were lined up, and then I just went ahead and cut off the excess. And after that, I just took my ruler and my heat pen and I just marked down the middle where I wanted the pink and blue to split in the front and the back. If you're going to do this, make sure that you have both sides, the right side facing up or the right side facing down, so that you cut them at the same angle so that they will match up correctly on both sides later when we sew them all together, so that you have a pink side and a blue side. Now these two will get sewn together, these two will get sewn together, and then when we flip and combine them together, the blues will be together, and then the pinks will touch on the sides as well. And so then we will have, hopefully, a cohesive, magical 1920s Aurora dress. Okay, so now I have sewn both of the sides each together, the blue to the pink, and now we are going to go ahead and we're going to sew up here at the shoulder seams, and then we're going to sew up the left side all the way, and we're going to sew up part of the right side. We're not going to go all the way up the right side, but whatever the one's right side, that's where the zipper is going to go, so we're not going to sew that all the way up yet. And then after we get those sewn together, I think I'm going to go ahead and serge these unfinished edges so that those can be finished up a little bit nicer. Okay, so it is the next day. Got all of the sides sewn up, and I've got some serging going on down here that you can see. It might be a little blurry, sorry. But we've serged all of the insides so that that won't fray on us. Now, last time I was here, I said sew these together. That's a lie. We're not sewing those together. We have straps that are going to get added. And then I've left this part open for a zipper. Yeah, so it's starting to look like a dress. I think our next step is we're going to have to hem it and figure out the binding or strings or something at the top, and then add in a zipper, and then all these fun fringes. Kitty break. What do you want, Elfie? What is it, baby? Oh. Okay guys, so I have figured out what I'm going to do about this neckline. I had some 1/4 inch bias tape in my stash, and it's a perfect pink just about. So I am just going to use that bias tape to cover up all those raw edges, and then probably also be my straps for this dress. And in order to make that work, I just trimmed down the top of the straps, because when I made a pattern I was assuming that there would probably be a seam allowance necessary, and with this it won't be, so I just trimmed that down to however seemed like it would lay naturally. And so I'm going to iron all of this out and then bind the top and then hem it, because I still haven't hemmed it, and then after that we will have our base dress ready for the fringe. Yay! Okay, so I just have this pinned on to me right now, There's a lot of extra in the underarms here. I made it loose because 1920s dresses were pretty loose. They weren't super form-fitting, but this just isn't looking good. So I think I'm going to take it in underneath the arms. But here you can see how the bias tape did work. Again, like I think this is a little bit too loose too, but I think if we fix the underarms, that'll fix a lot. And then by the time we have our fringe on, I think it'll be really cute. I'm kind of happy with it. Okay, so I have sewn in the zipper, I've sewn on the straps, I've hemmed it, so the base dress is done. All we have to do now is add the fringe. You can see I took in the underarms, and that's making things lay a lot better up here than it was before. So I'm really happy with what it's looking like now, and next we're going to put on her fringe. I didn't want to use pins all over the fringe and the satin of this dress, so in order to avoid that, I went ahead and I grabbed my ruler and a heat-sensitive pen, and I just drew the lines where I knew I wanted the fringe to lay. So first I just started with a line right underneath the armpit area, and then I went ahead and kind of eyed how far down I thought I would want the next layer to start, and I decided about 5 inches was a good separation, so every 5 inches I drew a line, and then I just flipped the dress over and I drew lines that matched up to that the entire way down. And then when I sewed them on, I did the opposite. I just started with the bottom layer and I sewed my way up, and that was just so that I could keep the fringe better out of my way on my sewing machine so that there was less of a problem keeping the fringe out of my sewing machine. Here I'm just cutting down some shorter fringe strands so that I don't have to work with an entire 10 yards of fringe and fight with that at my sewing machine, and that just kind of helped it make it a little bit easier to deal with this fringe because it wasn't super fun to work with. Here we are at my sewing machine, and this is just me starting the first strand, and you can see how easy it was to just go ahead and line up my fringe with that line that I drew with my heat sensitive pen, and then later I'll be able to just iron over that pen and it will just be completely gone. And then I decided to go ahead and do 2 layers of that fringe everywhere. It just kind of made it look a little thicker and a little bit nicer. So here we are about 4 hours of sewing on this fringe later, and we're finally basically done. I'm going to just iron it to get rid of the last of those heat pen marks that I was following, and then I guess 1920s jazzy montage? Okay guys, so this is what she looks like. The fit ended up turning out great. It fits me really, really well. It doesn't have that gaping or anything anymore. I fixed that. And then once I sewed all this trim onto the top, it made the top a lot less flimsy. So now that just lays naturally on me too. Just paired it with some cheap Amazon flapper costume jewelry. There's the necklace and there's these earrings. The bracelet. It came with like gloves and like one of those cigarette things too. It came with a hairpiece too, but I decided to keep Aurora's crown. It's just iconic Aurora. I think this would be really fun to do for a lot of the Disney characters, or just if you want a flapper dress, just do it in whatever color you want. Just make sure that you order like a ton of fringe, because this took like 16 yards of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what other kinds of videos you'd like to see from me on this channel. I'm going to be uploading every Monday, so make sure you subscribe and check that out. And next week we are going to go over a review of my Queen Anna gown, because I've had so many people ask me about that. And then we'll talk about the wig and the jewelry that she wears for that too, because I know everyone's been asking about Queen Anna. I also have some sleepy kittens with me today. Yeah, Oz. Hi baby. I love you. He's a good boy. We've been working on them learning how to behave in the crafting room, and they're doing very good. They're just taking a nice sleepy nap.